Welcome back to the AI Driven Marketer. I'm Dan Sanchez. My friends call me Danchez. And today, this is a solo episode. Yes, it's just Dan. And we're going to be talking about the future of AI. You know, it's been funny. Since the launch of ChatGPT, a common thing that I've heard about artificial intelligence, even in the marketing space, but just broadly around AI, is that it's hard to know the future. Even the brightest among us cannot predict what's going to happen this year or next year or 5 years, let alone 5 or 10 years from now. So the stories we've been telling and the possible futures we've been painting have been all over the place. Very sci-fi, right? You're like, is it going to be Terminator or is it going to be like Utopia on Earth or somewhere in between, most likely, right? And it's been fun because I don't know either until I've been starting to dig into this, but I've finally landed in a place this summer where I'm like, I don't know what it's going to be in 5 years, but I know what it's going to be like next year. Next year has become very clear to me, and honestly, 2 years from now isn't too far off from imagining either. So I'd love to share with you how I've come to that conclusion, what I'm expecting for 2025, even though we're only halfway through 2024, and how to make the most of it if you're in your marketing career now, whether you're at the early stages, middle like I am, or in the mid stages, and how to make the most of it. So let's dive into what I've been looking at and what I'm seeing. What I've been seeing over the last couple of months is all these big tech companies, and I mean the biggest tech companies and many small ones, have been making announcements about their future roadmaps, or more like what they're announcing is available now or in the future about their AI products. The interesting thing is that all of them are just clamoring and stumbling over themselves to announce what they're doing with AI. And even when they launch it, an announcement, it'll be ready in weeks. It's not coming for months sometimes, years in the fine print we find. So really what they're announcing is more of what they're working on and less of what they're actually ready to ship to customers today. And while that can be a little disappointing, and there's plenty of features that I've been hoping to get my hands on now that I'm still waiting for, like OpenAI's new voice assistant, it actually is helpful because now we can actually plan accordingly. So here's the big ones that I've been looking at and are now, I can say with certainty, like will be here in 2025, maybe just before breaking into 2025. So it'll be the things that we use then. And then we'll hear about new updates, which will probably be things that come in 2026 or end of 2025. But the future is pretty clear. Let me show you the 3 big ones that I'm looking forward to as a marketer. One, Sora. OpenAI Sora, which is their video creation platform. They announced it in February, blew everyone's mind, but they still haven't released a single thing. And I imagine they probably will be slow to release or won't release until after we're pretty much done with this election year because of how powerful a tool it is to create fake content with it. I imagine that's not going to come out anytime soon. Hopefully, I mean, if it does, great, but that'll be a nice feature that will bring AI video creation to the point where marketers can actually leverage it for a lot of different video uses, mainly B-roll video, but I think that'll help us all make better video content, period, and it'll be fast and easy as it is coming up with images in Midjourney. Speaking of Midjourney, right now Midjourney creates amazing photos. The problem with Midjourney is that you can't automate any of it, and they have no plan to release an API to make it easy to do so, because I love being able to make images for it, and I do it all the time. But right now, if I wanted to automate said creation, even if I can automatically create the prompts for it with ChatGPT, I can't automatically create the images, which is slowing down people like me who want to be able to not just use AI, but automate AI so that it can happen automatically even in my emails. I'd love it if I could create custom images for all my newsletters or something like that. You know, these are the possibilities that we currently can't see, but my prediction is that DALL-E will actually catch up to Midjourney in 2025 or just before it, so that we can use Midjourney level styles and photos and the types of things we've expected to see in Midjourney. But with DALL-E, and DALL-E is from OpenAI and has an API that we can tap into and now automate image creation, which is just going to be awesome. And then lastly, with OpenAI's ChatGPT-5, like that's probably going to launch sometime between now and the end of the year, which will be the platform and the main thing that we use for 2025. And they haven't announced what that's going to look like or the use cases that it have, but they've certainly dropped a lot of hints. And the two big things that it'll do better is simple math. Believe it or not, it can do complex math, but struggles with simple counting sometimes, which creates all kinds of problems for us who are doing, especially trying to automate AI. It can be inconsistent because of that. But more importantly, right now, ChatGPT 4.0 struggles to break larger requests down into small tasks. For me, it's not too hard to then break it down into custom GPTs and break it down into the small tasks for it, and it's much better at executing things. But the AI will, based on what they've said and hinted at, these are the two big things. It's going to smooth out a lot of the small problems we run into right now and add the ability to handle taking a task like, hey, can you create a marketing plan for my business? And here's all the information about it, and actually creating a full marketing plan rather than you having to step it. Instead, right now it'll give you a lame marketing plan unless you break it down into small tasks and considering the target audience and their pain points and your objectives, and then taking all of that and then creating a marketing plan, right? Is how you would break it, a large project down into small tasks that create a better output. So that's coming. That's exciting. And of course, the competition from Google and Anthropic and all those things will keep OpenAI, who I think is the leader in all of this, humble and competitive, and their price is low. So that'll continue to happen. Another big thing is Microsoft Copilot. I've been very excited about, because it's very exciting to see an environment where Microsoft owns all these apps and their Office 365 account, and have them talk to each other with AI being the go-between all these things. Right now, they've released it, but it's not that good. The applications don't talk to each other as well as you would hope. With AI, I can't really use them as well as I would want to see if I was going to pay for that myself. So I've held off from paying for it. I'll probably will eventually. But by the time 2025 is rolling around, by the time we're here next year, I predict that it's going to be pretty good. They're going to catch up, finally fix the integration problems, probably tap into ChatGPT-5 where it's going to more intuitively navigate between the apps and pull the data that we need when we need it, right? And if I say, hey, pull this Excel sheet from this SharePoint file every time you run this query, run this search, it's going to know to do that, and it's going to be well integrated, and it's going to be a well-oiled machine. For those in marketing automation, like Microsoft 365 is going to be a freaking heyday. I can't wait to get in there and do that. So still waiting on that. Microsoft Copilot's a little rough right now. And I don't mean their ChatGPT wrapper app. I mean like the Copilot that runs between all their applications. That's the exciting part. And Apple just made their major announcement just 2 weeks ago. And it was very exciting. While the AI community, like podcasters like myself, weren't really stunned by anything that AI could do at a time, what was really exciting is that they built in really common sense AI features that are really helpful and really useful, that tap into Apple's ecosystem in a way that nobody else is doing except for Microsoft with its 365 apps. But that's more of a business case. Apple is going to level the is really going to bring it into our personal and daily use. And why I'm excited about it is it's going to really broaden AI usage, because right now not a lot of people use AI on a daily basis or across all these different ways that we can use it. If you're listening to this, you're probably on the edge of AI. You're probably doing things and testing and experimenting in ways that most of the population isn't. You're probably in the top 10% of AI users right now, because I mean, even this show, it's ranked the number 2 AI marketing show. And I mean, I'm only getting a few, like 100, 150 downloads an episode. That shows you how small this category, like how small AI is being used right now, when I'm one of the top AI marketing shows and I'm not getting that many downloads. It's because this whole field is so early still. As much hype as there is, and we're hearing about it all the time, it's really, really actually early. So if you even want to start your own media property around AI, you can get started now, because it's going to get big. At least I hope it's going to get big. That's why I'm putting all the effort into making this podcast. But Apple, why I'm excited about it is because it's going to broaden the field, and it's going to help it the whole category cross the chasm, right? We all know, and we've seen the picture of the big lump. You know, we start with the very few innovators and the what do you call them? The people who adopt the people who are early to adopt new trends. But then there's the early majority. There's this big cap, or the chasm, as it's called, where a lot of good technology goes to die because the innovators and the people who are early to use it are always trying out new things. But in order to really become successful, it needs to cross over into the early majority where the bulk of people start using it. And that's what Apple's going to do. Apple's going to push it into a way where we become used to using AI without even knowing it's AI. It just becomes useful. We get used to prompting. We get used to it creating text for us and writing for us, and accessing our apps and application and making use cases for us and integrating things for us, where we're going to be used to robots essentially doing it without even knowing that it's AI. So it'll make it more normal to integrate and work with AI in a way that will make it more prevalent for those who are on the cutting edge using it for business applications and for marketing. So, and I'm sure over the next year, there will be a ton of little updates where it's like, oh, I didn't even think AI would have that use case. Oh, there's this big AI company and we didn't even think about it in the summer of 2024, how that would impact the whole AI landscape. I'm sure there will be some big breakthroughs that I have no idea to account for. I've only talked about like OpenAI, Office, Apple, and some video and image creation stuff. But I expect that there will be some breakthroughs that are like we didn't even know to expect right now. But even just the ones that I've mentioned are going to get better. They're going to smooth out. They're going to become more useful in a way that is helpful and predictable and reliable for those who like to push it into marketing automation like I do. And it's just going to be a whole lot more helpful. A whole lot more people are going to be using it in 2025, especially if GPT-5 drops before 2025. That's the other big shoe that I'm waiting to drop. Apple was the first shoe. ChatGPT-5 is the other big one. I'm like, if that happens before 2025, that year is going to be really good and it's going to become actually useful. Well, the hype has been running hard for the last year and a half, but in 2025, we're going to start to see the usage catch up with the hype. And it's just pretty simple to see. Like all these companies are announcing how useful it's going to be, and then we're logging in and it's like, it doesn't work the way, or I don't have access to it yet, or you said it would come, but it's actually not even close to ready yet. All that stuff is going to be ready and useful and happening next year. As much as we want it this year, it's going to be next year. So what can we do about it as marketers? How can you take advantage of all this stuff that's coming down? For one thing, you really need to double down on the fundamentals now, and there are fundamentals to AI, which is why I made a whole course on it. You need to check it out at aidrivenmarketer.com/course. It's free. You just sign up. I'm literally paying every time a person takes this course. I'm paying ChatGPT to write custom instructions for you based on your job, your role, your industry, your buyer. It's 100% free to you. I'll probably need to put a price, like a really cheap price on it at some point just to pay for the AI usage that I'm putting into it right now. But for now it's free. So take advantage. Because you really need to understand the fundamentals. That way, when that early majority and the masses start waking up to how useful it is and want to start learning how to leverage it better, you want to be ahead of them. You want to be way beyond the fundamentals into the intermediate or advanced stuff, so that when people want to learn, who are they coming to? They're coming to you. I mean, that's why you're listening to this podcast now. You were on the cusp. You were one of the early people learning how to leverage this stuff now. So double down on the fundamentals, because it always comes back to the fundamentals. No matter how good you get, you practice the fundamentals, right? I mean, it's how it goes for sports even, right? You're a pro soccer player. You're probably still practicing the fundamentals of becoming more and more comfortable with like just moving the ball around with your feet, right? It's why they have the toe taps and the Tic Tacs and all those different little ball moves they use in order to become better and better at the freaking fundamentals, right? So same with AI. As you learn, you want to do what I call learning in the light. As you learn, you want to post about it on social media, especially LinkedIn, where your coworkers can see you, so that internally within your company, people start to get the idea like, oh, Susan is really picking up on this AI stuff. Oh, Susan made that cool AI thing a month ago. I wonder if I should talk to her about it now. That's the kind of conversations that will happen if you're learning in the light, practicing, and essentially sharing just what you're learning. Oh, I read a book on AI, and this is what I learned. This is what I'm doing about it. Hey, I tried this thing with ChatGPT. Hey, I made this custom GPT. Test it out. These are the kinds of things you want to be sharing along the way, so that people know that you know about this stuff. And that's what's going to lead to a great 2025 for you if you understand the fundamentals. You're sharing as you go, because I'm expecting this to take over. I'm like, AI is going to become so powerful that it's going to become a big part of marketing, a massive part of marketing. So worst case scenario is that we're all like a bunch of us are going to lose our jobs because AI is going to be able to do like 90% of what marketers are currently doing. That's the 95% is the prediction that Sam Altman, the founder, or not founder, the CEO of OpenAI has put out there. And that's kind of a scary prediction. Whether it's true, I don't know. Time will tell. Best case scenario is AI just becomes a really helpful tool within organizations and is leveraged by all kinds of departments, and new roles are created for it. So worst case scenario, if you're learning how to leverage AI now, you probably become one of those people that are still employed managing all these AI teams, and you're one of the few that keep their job in marketing. Best case scenario, you have a new skill set of a highly in demand tool that a lot of companies want to leverage for all kinds of different reasons. And you can either become the AI specialist that specializes in AI, kind of like marketing ops specialist showed up when marketing automation matured, or you become the specialist that really has a strong AI tool in their tool belt, right? If you're a graphic designer and you know how to leverage AI real well, you're still a graphic designer, but you know how to do it better and faster because of AI, or you know how to run PPC better and faster because of AI. That's what AI is going to do. It's going to make what takes someone like an email marketer 100 hours to make awesome campaigns. They'll now be able to do it in 10 or 2. Right? Because of AI, we'll be able to help set up and personalize all these things in ways that weren't possible before. So that's why I talk so much about mastering AI in 2024, because I expect that when this thing hits in 2025, it's going to be big. It's going to swell. There's going to be a lot of people trying to get into it. And I'm trying to double down and master it as much as possible this year, while the hype cycle is making it seem like it's everywhere. It's actually not. There's only a few people actually putting in the effort and work to try to master this thing. If you're listening to this podcast, you're one of those few people too. You're in the game with me. So thanks for joining me on the journey. It's still going to be a while. We still have a while before this becomes a big thing. It's a year. But you know what? I'm going to be patient. I'm going to continue mastering this stuff. I'm going to continue posting about it and sharing it with you all. Join me in it. It's going to take a while, but it's going to be worth it. The writing is on the wall when it comes to AI. So let's learn everything we can about it, master the fundamentals. So when things get better and when AI becomes more useful for everybody, everywhere, people are going to be coming to us to learn. And the teachers, honestly, are the ones who become the leaders. So let's learn the skill set that's going to help us lead the future of marketing next year.